Hi, I'm Catherine. Welcome to my making adventure. This is going to be a video podcast where I share about the things I've been making in the last few weeks. I live in the rural Midwest with my husband and our 3 daughters, and I've been having trouble isolating a time I can sit down and film all at once. So I'm going to try to film little chunks here and there today and tomorrow while my kids play, and show you what I've been doing. So there might be more background noise than normal. It might be a little bit choppier than normal, but hopefully we can make this work. So yeah, today I have some sewing and knitting to talk about, and just like normal, I'm gonna start with finished objects. I have sewn 12 zipper pouches and I had a few others, I think 3 others on hand, so I have 15 here to show you. I've created for a making event that I'm attending on Saturday. So 9 or 10 of these will be given away at that event, and there are various sizes. So I'll just kind of hold them up. They all have interfacing on the outside fabric and a different inside fabric. I put a little label on the inside. I suppose some of them are repeated fabric. Most of this fabric I got for free at a library craft exchange as well. Well, I think maybe a third to a half of the zippers are from the library craft exchange as well. Although there's 2 of these. This bigger size will hold a couple diapers and a package of wipes. So I think I don't have a really little baby anymore. My daughter's getting close to 2. I think I might start using this with a preferred bag rather than a diaper bag. And I can pack, we usually have extra clothes in this is one of my favorites because it's really geometric. And there's a really good contrasting color on the inside. I tried to use lighter colors on the inside because I know that makes it easier to see things. I've heard a lot of knitters talk about that. These would hold a small knitting project, but I didn't attach any handles. I had really thought about adding handles or boxing out bottoms, but I was just feeling really short on time to get them finished. And I have some other things that I also need to get finished before next weekend, so I just couldn't press it. I cut the fabric for these out to 9 by 12 inches. This size was 8 by 11. And then I think these 2 were 7 by 10. Does that sound right? And then these ones that I had done are the ones I had done previously, and they were 6.5 by 8.5, because I think I had 8-inch zippers. And this one was a 7-inch zipper, so I think I did 6 by 8 and made it work. So yeah, these smaller ones work well for notions or even pencils and pens. Or I was even thinking, something else came up that I thought, that would be really good for. My daughters like them for little toys and stuff too. So, but this larger one, size 1, I was thinking would be really nice for diapers and wipes, but you could also put a knitting or crocheting project in it. So I'm kind of excited to see what everyone at the event prefers. Yeah, I think you would put an embroidery or cross stitch project in one of these too. But yeah. I have been a little bit sick, and so if I lose my train of thought, that's probably why. So hopefully that doesn't add to the jumbledness of this video. All right, pause. All right, let's talk about a finished knitting object. I have been working on knitting in the Quiltstar Shawl, which was a mystery knit along pattern by Gabrielle, Vezina. And I think last time I filmed, I was in the middle of clue 4. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. So I'm going to share my stats for clues 4, 5, and 6, and then talk about the pattern a little bit. But I have just stats on how much yarn I use that I'll start with. So for clue 4, I used 3 grams of blueberry, 9 grams of grape, 9 grams of the raspberry, 3 grams of the carrot, and 31? I'm not sure. Yeah, 31 grams of my main color. And then that's a total of 55 grams in clue 4. So clue 1 was 18 total grams. Clue 2 was 30 total grams. Clue 3 was 46 total grams. And clue 4 was 55 total grams. And it got even larger. Clue 5, I used, I gotta line this up so I can remember which one's which. For clue 5, I used 10 grams of the blueberry, 8 grams of the grape, 10 grams of the raspberry, and 13 grams of the carrot, and 41 grams of my main color. I actually ran out of main color in clue 5. It called for 100 grams and I did not have enough to finish clue 5 as it was written with that 100 gram skein. So I bust open a mini skein that I had since we dyed this yarn, and that added 21 more grams. And I added, no, sweetie, no. I added all that into the shawl, and this is what I have left. I actually, I did modify clue 5, I'll talk about that in a little bit, to use more of this because I really only needed the mini skein for like half of a row, and that felt really wasteful. So I tried to use up as much as I could, and I think I did really well. Did you bonk? Do you need a hug? No, lap, just hug. Do you need a kiss? And then, so that was a total of 82 grams that I knit up in clue 5. And I didn't not finish that exactly within the week that we had to knit clue 5. I think I was still knitting in on it the day clue 6 was released. But I was at the end of clue 5. So I knit really furiously on clue 5 that week. It took me every bit of the week plus some to get it finished. Now clue 6 ended up being short and sweet, and I made some mods here too, just because I could. So for clue 6, the way I did it, I used 2 grams of the blueberry, 2 grams of the grape, 1 gram of the raspberry. So probably all of these used the same amount. It just registered on my scale as only 1 gram of the raspberry compared to clue 5. And 13 grams of the carrot. And this doesn't call for any of your main color in clue 6. You could use that up in clue 5, so I didn't use main color at all. And I don't think I mentioned this is called Spider's Web, my main color. I think it would have been nice to have some main color left for clue 6. I might have done it differently had I had some main color left. That was only 18 grams, and all from the contrast colors. So I'm gonna show you, that's a total of 250 approximately grams of yarn that I used in the shawl, which ended up being 25 grams of blueberry, 29 grams of grape, 29 grams of raspberry, 39 grams of carrot, which was more than the pattern called for, but because of the mods I made in clue 5 and clue 6, I used more of that color. Well, at least in clue 6, I used more of that color than the pattern called for. Probably just in clue 6. But 13 grams, like 10 grams to 11 grams more. So it would have been within if I hadn't modded clue 6. And then 127 grams of my main color, the Spider's Web. So I think 249 or 248 grams is what it came out to be when I weighed it, or when I totaled that. All right, so here it is. However, oh, I'll just show it to you. Here it is. Clue 6 added this border at the top, and it was mosaic style. Instead of following the mosaic pattern, which used each of the 4 contrast colors pretty evenly, I used Carrot as my main color and then added the other 3 in with a mosaic stripe. Yeah, so that's how I ended up using about 10 grams more of that main color, of that carrot color than the pattern called for. Clue 5, you were to do the final ribbing in your 4th contrast color. And instead of doing that, I added, so these stripes here are Clue 5, I added Clue 4, or contrast color 4, as I had contrast colors 1 through 3, and then added the border in my main color. So I really thought that I would have, I actually ended up doing 1 less row of the main color ribbing than I ended up doing 1 fewer row of the ribbing than it called for because I ran out of my main color. I would not have had enough yarn to rib back and then bind off the way it called for. So I ended up binding off on the wrong side instead of on the right side, I think. But it didn't really matter because you're binding off in pattern and it's ribbing. So it works. The bind off is a little bit tight and I don't have like blocking mats and pins, so I can't pin this corner to a good point. It's kind of like rolling. The other thing is that I knew I needed to block this, and I also needed to wash like a whole bunch of my knitwear. I decided to throw all of my knitting that was super wash in the washing machine together, and this definitely overdyed my spider's web with a pinky ready hue. So I don't know if it's from this, the yarn in here, or if it's from a different project. I didn't even put any color catchers in the washing machine, even though I have those. So I'm feeling really dumb for that. But I think like the average person wouldn't notice, but I think that like you'll be able to notice in comparison to what I have left here of the main color. Yeah, that was a pretty big disappointment and mistake. I left my ends a little bit longer, as you can see on the wrong side, because I don't want them like pulling forward to the right side, and I don't really have a good way of solving that yet, because I even have had ends already, even though they're longer, pull through to the right side, like this one is doing over here. So if you have any advice on weaving in ends so they don't slip forward onto the right side, I would love that. I've had that happen with some striped garments I've made, and then as well as this. Now maybe it's just because I knit this at a pretty loose gauge. So I knit on my US 4 needles, a 3.5mm needle with fingering weight yarn. And it definitely blocked out quite a bit. I laid it out on a twin bed to dry, and it was as long as the bed. Trying to think if I have any other thoughts on this. I did notice earlier that I have a tiny mistake in one of these garter sections. I think it's over here. Where I like knit instead of purled. One of the garter ridges. And also it's been snagged at one point already and I haven't been able to fix it. So yeah, right there, either a slip or a knit instead of a purl. And yeah, 1 stitch. It must have been a place where like I dropped a stitch and I picked it up wrong, or I like paused my knitting and I had, you know, just not picked it up quite right. That happens. It'll be okay. I didn't notice until today, and this has been done. Like Clue 6, I think I knit, so Clue 6 would have come out Wednesday, and I think I finished this on Thursday. Clue 6, that was super fast, just that top border. And I think I really like the way it turned out. If I had done the bottom ribbing in my 4th contrast color, in my orange, I would not have done the top mosaic like this, but I think it adds like a nice little border to the edge of it, to the top. It is fun when you put it on. The triangles kind of, those top triangles kind of like line up with each other. I think you can see that. And this is where it's snagged and I haven't fixed it yet. And so I like the way that matches up. And it looks kind of like a button band almost with this mosaic knit part. If you wear it just like this. My daughters, I really hope you couldn't see that stain on my dress when I stood up. My daughters love wearing it and they want to wear it all over all the time. So unfortunately they can't, because we like specifically made this as a sample for my husband to use when he's trying to sell the yarn that we dye. So I don't really want them playing with it all the time, but it does kind of make me think about knitting another shawl that they could use. But I probably would have to make 2 or 3 of them because they don't share all the time. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about the Quiltstar. So I think I have enough time to give you an update on one of my works in progress, which is the Sophorine by Audrey Borrego. I am using Borrego sock in the color Rosalinda and Pros and Pines in the color Coffee House. And this is actually the only yarn I have left. I have a tiny bit of the Borrego left, but I don't think it's enough to do anything with. So I am using the Coffee House now. I did go ahead before I attached the ball of Coffee House to the body to finish the body. I went ahead and I ribbed the collar and the sleeves. This will be like a sleeveless tank. It is wide strapped, and I'm gonna knit it as long as I can with the yarn that I have and hope that that's long enough. I got 3 stripes in on the body, and it probably looks like I'm doing a 4th stripe, but since I'm out of the main color, or the pink color, I'm just gonna keep going with that Coffee House color in this, what are we calling it? Neapolitan Sophorine. Will just be finished in the chocolate ice cream color. So yeah, I'm excited. It's fitting really well. I did not add in any bust shaping or anything, but I feel like the way that it fits is great. I haven't blocked it recently at all either, I don't think. I'm not sure if I did any blocking at all. I don't remember. I've done very little weaving in of ends, and I probably should fix that. But the Quiltstar required a ton of end weaving in. And then the other whip I have right now is striped, and that's been a lot of weaving in ends. So last week when I finished my Quiltstar and had to weave in like 50 ends in one day, that was a little excessive. And then as I've been working on my daughter's dress, my other whip that I'll show you briefly in a little, well, not right now because I don't even have it right here with me, but maybe later today or tomorrow. That one I am caught up on weaving in ends now. So maybe I will start weaving in some of the ends of this one. This is a free pattern on Ravelry right now. I think that Audrey Borrego used to design and charge for her patterns, but then she no longer does that, so she listed them for free. That's my understanding that I've heard from other people. So yeah, I am enjoying it. This I cast on during Kirsty Knits and Sews tea knit along. I think I'm obviously more than halfway done because I finished the main color. And so Daphne and Erica are doing a like slipping through the summer, and you could do vests and tank tops and slipovers for that make along. But since I'm more than halfway, I think that usually like goes against their make along rules. But I have not checked because they do all theirs on Discord and I just haven't been on Discord. They do all their make alongs on Discord and I haven't been on Discord in a long time. So this is like my really easy knitting for now. But my priority is my daughter's dress because I really want her to be able to wear it. When I wash that though, since I'm striping and I have red yarn and white yarn in that, I won't put it in the washing machine, at least the first wash. When I wash it, when I block it, I'll put in a color catcher. For sure, because I'm gonna learn from my mistakes. I've never had yarn bleed on me before. And I've put in color catchers and they always come out white. So I guess I was feeling overconfident. But I do usually only block like one garment at a time. So I guess that's on me. So this is my second whip that I'm working on right now as kind of my primary whip. And it is a dress that I'm knitting for my 4-year-old. And I'm using Drops Bell in a variety of colors. I'll probably try to list the colors on Ravelry, although I haven't yet, I don't think. It's kind of a pain to go through them all here. I did start with the Flax Worsted pattern. That was the gauge, that was the closest to the gauge I was getting with this Drop Spell on US 4 needles. And I knit pretty much the smallest size, which says it's like for a baby. But I didn't want it to be an oversized sweater. I wanted it to fit like snugger, like the bodice of a typical dress for my daughter. And I made it short sleeves, and then I bound off a short length and picked up stitches, did a rapid increase, and I'm now working on the skirt. So I think last time I was finished with the bodice, and now I've knit through one repeat of the stripes plus one more on the skirt portion of the dress. And I think I'm gonna do one more color stripe today, hopefully if I can, and then block it with a color catcher, like I said before, and have my daughter try it on before I decide if it needs to be longer or if that's a good length for her. And then I'll add some ribbing in the white color before I finish it off all the way. So I'm ready to put in an orange stripe, and that might be the last stripe or it might not. It just kind of depends on how it fits her after blocking. I don't know if it's gonna change much with washing it or not. So hopefully if I can get that color done tonight and block it tonight. Do you wanna open? Do you wanna open, please? How do we ask? Good asking. There you go. If I block it tonight, hopefully it's dry in the morning, and I may finish this like tomorrow. So I really need to put in an order for the stocking yarn. So yeah, that is my update on that. I'm really, really excited for her to wear this, and I really, really want to get it finished so that she can wear it. I know she will wear it on a Sunday to church, the first Sunday that it's done, and then a million times after that. So she keeps asking me if it's done yet. She at first said she wanted it as long as to the floor, and I said I didn't really think that was very practical because this yarn is just heavy and I don't think that it would be very comfortable or fit. Like it would probably stretch out at the shoulders a lot if I made it that long, and so she agreed that it could be just past her knees. So hopefully we're getting close to that. All right, those are my projects. So I do want to pick up my daughter's stocking for Carla's Merry Make-Along, which is like a Christmas in July. And this is how far I left it. It's the toe and like the first little round. I had to look up, aka watch my 12 cast-ons video to see what needle sizes I was using. So that is something, but I also know that I need to purchase some more yarn. So I have to make some decisions on that. How many turtles do you have? One turtle or two turtles? Two turtles. She's really into turtles right now. So you'll probably be seeing more about this in the future. I also have more sewing to do in the future. And the last thing I can share right now, since my last whip is upstairs, I'm not gonna go get it, is that I have been enjoying listening to the book, is it the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon by Beth Brower? For sure I'll have the correct thing down below, but I can listen to the audiobooks through my Libby app, and I think I'm on book 5. There are 8, and I've been really enjoying that. So if you haven't checked them out yet, go ahead. I've heard rave reviews from multiple people. And yeah, I think that's all for now. I will just sign off now and insert my whip video earlier. So thanks for watching. God bless.